Okay, Quick Hands, Rugby League Podcast, episode 27. In this show, we'll be answering some fan questions, looking at the top NRL news stories of the day, as well as reviewing some of the trial games from last weekend. We'll have our crystal ball segment and much, much more. So welcome back, Artie, George.
Welcome.
Boys, how are you?
Looking forward to it.
How good is it, huh?
There you go.
Life starts.
Hey, we had a full round of games this week, which is good.
How good. You know what the best is?
What?
Being in the room and rugby league's on. and you know what? It's really funny. I said it on last year on our pod. I got my personality back. I can talk about things. People ask me and I can answer them. I get phone calls from people who I'm hear from during the season, and my phone's ringing all day. It's the best. I love it.
That's
love it.
Yeah.
It's the best, Nicola.
All right, well,
What's happening?
Why don't we kick it off with some fan questions?
Yep.
We've got a couple of fan questions here.
Mm-hmm.
First one's from George Blackos, good mate of mine. Actually, all three of them are. And his question is, with the Bulldogs recruitment and overall squad improvement, new coach, etc., will it be considered a failure if they fail to finish top 6 this season?
Top 6?
I think top 6 is a bit of a stretch. I think they're aiming for the top 8. I don't see them as a top 6 side just yet. What do you guys think?
Are they?
Mate, that's a lot of pressure, man, if they're going to expect that from
They were
his
pretty
first
impressive
year.
in the trial last week.
They were impressive, but yeah, anything in the fringes of the 8 is a success to me. So
Okay, so
it's a new team, a new coach, new structures. So
it's not an uncommon question. All my friends are suggesting that the Bulldogs will make the top 8. And look, I can't see it. Yes, sure. On the weekend, I saw improvement. I saw a lot of improvement, actually. But to make the top 8, it's a big call. And this is the question I ask my friends. Who's going to miss out? Someone's got to miss out for them to get in. And then, are they good enough to get in? Right this moment, very early days, I suggest not. Now, if they push up, if they make 9th, it'll be a miracle. If they get 10th to 12, what a success. Remember, 2 years ago they had the spoon.
I think probably 9th to 12th would be a good season.
Present.
Yeah.
Present. And next year, maybe they can start thinking about the bottom of the 8 with some more recruitments coming, them being together as a squad for a season. Absolutely. Mr. Popular, getting his ways.
Just for those who don't know, Mr. Popular is Cameron Ciraldo.
the most popular assistant coach in the world.
Yeah, even Manchester United wanted him apparently.
No, I'm surprised he wasn't Prime Minister of Australia at that stage.
There was talk.
Look, with Canterbury too, don't forget they've got Potsy there. So if they lose a few games, they can throw Potsy into to coach them.
Yeah, look, GB, I think it's ambitious for this year. But look,
anything can happen, mate. Look at the Sharks.
Yep.
They had Fitzgibbon first year.
Yeah, but
new structures. They came.
Look at their roster, bud.
Yeah.
Look at their roster.
Bulldogs have got a great roster.
Well, wait a minute. Who are you talking about? I don't get it. But everybody tells me they got a great roster. They bought Kickow and they got Burton.
Yeah,
and they got the hooker.
Addo Carr, Burton, Kickow, Reed Money.
The spine is pretty good.
Wait a minute. The spine. Okay, I agree there with the hooker. Okay, who's their halfback?
Flanagan, proven track record.
He's a good player, man.
Actually,
who's the lock?
From what I read, I'm expecting big things from Pangai Jr. I read an article about he promised the coach he'd drop a certain weight, and he did. And what you were talking about last week about putting in at training. So apparently all the signs are good. But I think there's only one way for us to get a definitive answer on this. And that's we need to send out Sachin, the Uber driver, down to Belmore, try and get some footage of the training.
What do you got for us, Artie?
Oh,
what do you got for us? Sachin, have you spoken to him?
I'm a bit worried, mate.
What's that? What's wrong?
I told him to go to Belmore, and he found a suburb called Belmore in Victoria. Now he's so. We've actually got to tell him the state.
Bloody
yeah, because I got a bill. I said, how come it's that much? It was over $1,000. He goes, yeah, I had to go all the way down. It was, mate. He used all the motorways and thinking, oh my God, here we go.
Oh my God, Sachin.
I think we're going to struggle to find a good round the grounds.
We'll keep trying.
We'll give him another go.
We bummed out with 2.
We'll
Give
keep
him another
trying.
go.
We'll keep trying. So,
Mate.
so GB, I think we all agree they'd be pushing for top 8.
Push it.
If they made the top 8, I think it would be an extraordinary season.
But improve G, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Improve G, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next question comes from my Con, Costa
Kostaki.
Lakia. And his question is, should we know that Toots, Lachlan Croker, is fit and ready to go again for the Raiders? Con would have liked to have seen him medically retired. And so Con's question is, should he be in the starting lineup? And I've argued relentlessly with Con that I think he's worth 10 points a game just with his boot. He's a fantastic goal kicker. What do you guys think? He's had a lot of time off.
Yeah.
And
what do you think, Adi?
Sometimes the team seems to
You
perform
can
better
take this
without
one.
him.
What's that?
You can take this one.
Look, he's still a valuable player. Like you said, off his boot, there's 10 points there,
Yeah.
more or less. But with ball in hand, he might be a bit past him now, Nicola.
Yeah.
Is he a good backup? Yes.
I think he's still got a couple more years left too, doesn't he?
Well, is he?
Is it 3 years or something?
Is he a good backup? Absolutely. Imagine having injuries, and now already they've got an injury crisis with the fullback.
The fullback, but is Croker someone that we should be speaking of as a backup? I mean, he was the incumbent captain before he got injured.
Well, my question to you is, he's a centre, and who's in that centre position at the moment?
Well, I think is Rapana in the centres?
Rapana's on the.
But he'll be
on the
covering
wing.
fullback. He'll be covering fullback.
Who's that, Rapana?
Yeah, so the
Now?
centres will be stretched. Yeah.
Well, Arthur's going to tell us now.
I'm not sure who the two centres
Arthur's
are.
going to tell us now.
Oh, Sebastian Chris is one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you've got Timoko, the guy that played last year. He looked pretty impressive. So
I would personally slot Croker in
yeah,
with Chris.
yeah. Sebastian Chris is really good.
I would. He's there. He'll be in the squad. Definitely in the. I don't know about the 17, but definitely in the 20. Any injuries, he'll be the first one up.
Yeah.
But with his defense and I don't know, ball in hand. You need centers. Centers are a very specialist position, and he is a very specialist.
Yeah.
Make no mistake about that. He's in his 30s now, I think, and I think time has just passed.
So I think they've also lost Josh Hodgson. Obviously, he's gone over to Eels, so there's a lot of experience there. So his leadership and experience could be invaluable. But then it all comes down to his form, right? He has to put in.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Well, Ricky had him playing last week in the trials.
yeah, he has to. He's had no game time in how long? Look, I'd be inclined to start him
Yeah.
and see how he goes. He used to be Mr. Reliable.
Yes.
Still is.
But like all players who tend to edge toward that 30 mark and they start getting injuries, it's very hard to keep up. So Con thinks it's time to move on from him, but he is on the contract. So I think they're going to be stuck with him for a while.
Oh, but look, there's nothing like having a backup like him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't move him on. The question is he a starter? And I think
he's on a pretty good wicket too. I
Is
think he's
he?
on a pretty decent contract.
and he's got 2 more years to go.
I'm not sure if it's 2 or 3, but I think he's there for a bit. Yeah.
Well, he's there's nothing wrong. He's a great starter. The issue is he's a great backup. Is he a starter? I say no. What does Ricky say? We'll see in 2 weeks what Ricky's going to say.
Yeah.
And we can answer Con definitively. But I'm going to suggest to you that Ricky's going to say no.
Okay.
But hey,
Well, Con, we'll see in 2 weeks.
yeah. So I don't know.
We'll
Watch
see
his
in 2
space.
weeks.
Watch his
Yeah.
space, Con. Watch his space.
And the third and last question is from another George, who we call Tot. Tot knows who he is. And his question is Reid Marnie the buy of the season?
Possibly.
And I say yes, because
Possibly.
when
yeah.
I think about that, I think of that. What was that cartoon with that dog? That's how I feel when I think about Reid Marnie. I wish he was still at Parramatta. I think he will be the buy of the season. Certainly one of.
Hooker's a very important position in the NRL. We saw Cameron Smith dominate for many years, and I think Canterbury's on the money there, picking a guy like Marnie. I'm surprised Parramatta didn't keep him longer.
Artie, one thing that disappoints me is, and I've told this George before, like in the past year or two, I said he's a future captain.
Yeah, you can see.
Well, now he is a captain.
Mm.
Now he is a captain. He's a co-captain.
Can I'll chime in here and what I saw on the weekend, and Amy played limited amount of time. I said last week that he's very good off the ground, but he can't bring his forwards onto the ball. And I suggested that the new Parramatta hooker, Hodgson, has got that skill because I saw it in Canberra. Boy, wasn't I wrong. Wasn't I wrong. What I saw from Reid Marnie...
none of it surprised me. I see it every week.
I got shocked. You know what? Young Moses is a dominant hooker, and you don't realise how dominant a dominant halfback. No. Moses, yeah. He's a dominant halfback. You don't realise how dominant he is when you take Marnie out and put him into another team without a dominant halfback, and then he's running the whole team himself, which I didn't think he had the ability to do. Okay?
Very good player.
So young Moses, he wanted the ball. He wanted the ball in his hand. He wanted the ball off the deck. He wanted to cut a quarter second away from the defence. So guess what? Marnie delivered. But we are so blasé about the hookers doing that. We didn't even think about it. Look, he's doing his job. He's doing it perfectly. Yeah. That's exactly what the two halves in Parramatta want. Because the two halves, and make no mistake, Brown is the same. He's a very dominant half, and he wants it. He wants it now. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the idea for these two halves, because they're running halves, they want the defence to be further away as possible. And that quarter of a second might be a quarter of a step. And for them, that's a lot. And guess what? He delivered. Okay? But he enters the Bulldogs system, okay? And he hasn't got a dominant half. Okay? So he has to run the forward pack and he has to run everything around him. My Godfather. So
he's very good.
So who asked that question?
Tot.
He's going to be very close, Tot, if not the buy of the year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a few others actually that have moved around, but
Appy Coruscant.
Appy,
and two big hooker movements.
But Appy, we know exactly, he's very good. We know exactly what he can do. We saw exactly what he can do. And guess what? Penrith's going to miss Appy really bad. Really bad, okay? And you see what he's going to do to the Tigers. He's going to elevate them, okay? It's up to the players around Appy, like Penrith around Appy, to get the job done, okay? There'll be no fault of the Appster. You know what I mean? So he could be at the buy of the year as well. But it's going to come from there. But I was really impressed by Marnie.
Yeah, he's going to be very good. So
sorry, Nico, I just got another question, mate, from a fan.
Sure.
Selwyn from Brisbane. He just wants to know, is there any good coaches around Brisbane area?
Apparently they're not happy with the one they got.
I don't know, Selwyn. There's got to be a good coach around. There's got to be a good coach around there somewhere, yeah.
There's a guy, he doesn't have a great record, but that shouldn't reflect his performance. And we're talking about Duneman. And Con knows what I'm talking about. He's got an NRL win ratio percentage of 0%.
Selwyn.
I'm telling you, mate, the players listen to us, mate. They send in the questions.
They're listening, all right. They're listening.
Well done, Selwyn.
Yes, but there are fan questions for the week, so keep them coming at quickhandsrugbyleague@gmail.com. And we'll answer them on the show. So moving on to some of the talking points of the current news stories of the day. The Mitchell Moses saga continues. We still don't know where he's going to end up. So the Tigers have offered him, this was reported by James Hooper on Fox Sports yesterday. The Tigers have offered Moses a 5-year deal at $1.3 million, which is a total of $6.5 million. The Eels have offered him a 4-year deal at 1.1, which is $4.4 million. So there's a $2.1 million difference. Now, you have to remember, Moses turns 29 this year. How can you knock back a 5-year deal worth $2 million more?
Yeah.
He's Mr. Popular now.
You know what, mate? Whatever decision he makes, one will be either to the chance of winning a comp, and the other one will be to set himself up for the future. So I think that's what's going on in his mind. Which one does he take?
Yeah.
But
he's not going to win a comp.
Okay, what would you do if you were in that situation?
I'm a Parramatta fan. I'd love for him to stay. I want him to stay, but I would absolutely go.
Yeah.
And if I were Parramatta, I'd put a clock on the negotiations as well, because this has gone on for long enough. So I'd give him 48 hours. You got 48 hours to accept our offer. Otherwise, good luck.
You know what?
Because they need to be fiscally responsible as well, and they need to be able to plan ahead.
The way I think of it, Mitchell Moses, right? He's got an opportunity to go back to the Tigers to be coached by Tim Sheens
for one season.
And
then Benji Marshall.
And then Benji, who is a superstar. Everything that guy touches. He's a really good player. As opposed to being coached by potentially Brad Arthur for 4 years. I don't know, man. If I want to enhance my skills, I'd go a year under Tim Sheens and see how I go under Benji, because I reckon the Tigers are on the up. Mark my words. I think they're going to be one team that's going to improve.
The money is too good.
The money is too good.
His last
5 years. 5 years takes him to 34 years of age.
At 29 years old.
Done deal for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Is that where he started? Is that his boyhood club, or is he a Parramatta Junior?
No, he's a Parramatta Junior. He went to the Tigers in 2014. He debuted in first grade there, and then in 2017 he came back to Parramatta.
Yeah. Wow. What's your thoughts, mate?
For young Moses, the best is yet to come, and he'll stay at Para.
Yeah?
Yeah. He'll stay at Para, and don't worry about the age, his maturity. The best is yet to come. We're going to have...
It's a lot of money.
We're going to... Yeah, I think he'll stay.
$2 million.
I honestly believe...
$2 million.
I honestly believe he's going to stay, and I believe, mark my words here, it's on tape, from 30 to 32, he's going to be his best years.
Okay, time will tell. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. I really believe.
We'll see. The Cowboys have re-signed Jeremy Nanai on a 4-year extension.
Sensational.
Yeah, I haven't seen the terms of the deal, so I don't know the amount. But that's a win-win.
Yeah,
for them.
That's the back rower, yeah.
Yep,
Nanai, yeah.
absolutely.
Nanai, the youngster, yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't matter the terms. If they signed him, throw him the kitchen sink. Give him anything. The kid's special.
They made it easy because St George threw their hat in the ring. They said, "Oh, we'll offer you 4 years," and then he just said, "You know what? Cowboys offer me anything, I'm done. I'm staying here. I'm staying here." He got scared. He goes, "No, mate, I'm going to stay here. That's the only offer that's coming my way." But yeah, that's a good move. I'd love him to stay there I like players when they start to finish their careers in the one club. You know what I mean? And I hope this is the case for Nanai.
Again. He entered first grade on the back of the COVID years, so he didn't play Reggie's or SG ball for 2 years prior to that, and he rocks up into first grade and he dishes up what he's dished up.
That was an amazing season.
Yeah, it's amazing season. It's impossible. I don't understand how you can do that. So I'll say this word again: the best is yet to come for Jeremy Nanai. Mate, he's a special human being.
One of the most impressive debuts for a back rower to me that I've seen. Yeah. He just set everything alight from week one to the whole season. It was consistently good football all year round.
He played Origin too, didn't
he?
Yeah.
He's special.
We saw him, Adi and I saw him at Cogra one Sunday afternoon. It's the first time I saw him live, and I actually focused on him. And for a 19-year-old man, and I kept on turning around to Adi and say, he's 19. How?
Yeah.
Just speaking on that, boys, and I want you to both hold me to this. I was telling George recently, Adi, I've not yet been to Wynn Stadium.
Yeah.
And when you see those afternoon games with the beach in the background, we've got to go.
It's beautiful.
We've got to go. Pick a game. We've got to head down.
We go once a year. Yeah, we didn't go last year.
Yeah, well,
but we go once a year.
We've got to go. Pick a game, and we got to head down.
And you can meet GT as well.
Well, the only Egyptian supporter in the world. We had a look at the draw, and St George play Cowboys in North Queensland this year. They don't play him in Sydney, so he's disappointed, mate. He doesn't get to see his Cowboys play the Dragons.
You can walk up.
Yeah, he might have to walk. Start from now, mate.
You can walk
Start from now.
You can walk up.
You can get Sachin to pick him up.
Yep.
Api Coruscant named captain of the West Tigers. Tim Sheen said that there was a vote taken within the group.
Really?
And it was the squad that voted for him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
The guy's got so much...
He's got the experience.
Success.
He's in an 80-minute role. Success. He's 30 years old.
Yeah.
That's very powerful for your peers, for the group. And there's some experienced players there to pick you as captain. And well deserved.
Who else would you have? Who else would you have there?
Well,
good question.
That's a good question. But Bateman's there.
Bateman's not even there yet.
Yeah.
So he's still having issues with his visa, and there's a very real possibility that he won't be there by round 1, which is only 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
But he's not captain material though. Surely he tore Canberra to shreds.
Yeah.
In the dressing room.
Dewey, Brooks. No.
Dewey. I think Adam Dewey's. I think
he'd do a job.
He could have been a co-captain, but then again, if you're in Adam Dewey's shoes and the coach come out publicly and said he wants Mitchell Moses, where does that leave Dewey?
How do you know that it might be Brooks? It might be let go and have Dewey and Moses.
Well, they've already said they're keeping Brooks because he's on 1.2 million this year, and
isn't this year's last year?
Yeah, but Tim Sheens said that he wants to extend him.
Oh, really?
I don't see what he sees, but I'm not the one running the team. Actually, it's funny because I see them quite often because every day I go for a walk. I walk straight past them training. So I usually stand there and watch.
Is he playing halfback in the drills? Or
yeah. Luke Brooks will be the halfback.
I hope he does have a good year because when he started, he was really good. Yeah. He was fantastic. So a lot of pressure on the guy. So
don't forget, when Moses was at the Tigers, he was a 6, not a 7.
That's right, he was too.
Although I'm sure if he went back, they'd probably move Brooks to 6 or Dewey. I don't know.
They've got a super coach there who had, Stuart Manning or Stuart Daly. Then he had Scott Prince and Benji.
Can I say something, Artie? The highlight of standing there for 10 minutes and watching them train is just watching Tim Sheens in action.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up watching Tim Sheens, right?
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, I haven't seen Benji there yet, although there's all the groups are there. They're spread out in different sections. So you got the juniors there as well, the reserves or whatever. And Benji's probably there somewhere. But Will Smith's there as well.
Mm.
He's joined the Tigers this year. He's training with them, yeah.
I heard he's going back to Parramatta.
No, he's at the Tigers.
He's at the Tigers.
You've seen him? Because
I saw him. I've seen him there.
Okay.
He's at the Tigers. I've seen him training there.
Okay, the word is he's going back to Parra.
No.
You know what's going to be interesting with Tim Sheens? He's coaching back in the NRL coaching, but he's missed a whole big chunk where wrestling and all that's in there. Like before he was coaching, it wasn't of as much of that, and now he's coming in. It's a different game. Like
let's not forget
how he adapts.
The last time he coached in the NRL, it was the Tigers who sacked him.
Yeah. And
so there's no guarantee that Sheens has the silver bullet.
Can I just say something? He didn't have a good time in England.
No.
He got sacked from 3 clubs.
But what's interesting is that he stated that he'll be coaching for 2 years, as we know, and then returning to his original position as head of football. So if he doesn't do well, does he sack himself?
No.
What happens there?
He doesn't sack himself. And look, it's got to be a stabilising move. And we all know the key piece is Benji.
Yeah.
Let's hope that works out because everybody likes Benji.
Yeah.
I don't know, one person doesn't.
Oh, it's pretty hard not to.
He's got some good experience. He won The Apprentice, didn't he? So there you go.
Celebrity Apprentice. He did. He's got a good head on his shoulders. That's for sure.
He does.
One thing that really impressed me about Benji was that when it was announced that he had signed on with the Tigers to do this, and by the way, this model, if this works, I think it'll be innovation. I think we'll start seeing other clubs do the same thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Didn't South do it with Bennett and Demetriou?
Because
they announced Demetriou was going to be the coach after he left.
To a degree, yeah.
So
to a degree. But Demetriou had already been an assistant elsewhere.
You're right, yeah.
With Benji, what really impressed me was that it was early in the year. So, I mean, if I was Benji Marshall, I would have said, I'm going to... Obviously, he resigned from Foxtel and his other media commitments.
Mm-hmm.
I would have seen the year out, he had his own show on Foxtel. Yeah. Done all that and get ready for the preseason, but he didn't. He resigned straight away. He walked away straight away so he could get involved straight away because he wanted to be ready when the preseason began.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty impressive.
Wouldn't you think Melbourne would jump on that and say, have Bellamy get Billy Slater or Cameron Smith?
I still think it's Jason Riles. I still think it's... but
if that model succeeds, why don't they do that with to Melbourne and get... a golden boy in Slater or Smith.
I still think, Slater's an option now because he's coaching Queensland, but I still think Bellamy sent Riles to the Roosters to get some more experience, and I think it's going to tee up that he returns to Melbourne when Bellamy retires. That's just my opinion. But
yeah, it's a fair call, mate. Fair call.
Yeah, I'm there. I think the model's probably going to work. I think a lot more will do it. You'll be very surprised.
I hope so, mate.
Back to the CBA. So the men's CBA still hasn't been finalised. I know that they've come to agreements, but it still hasn't been signed off on yet. As late as this afternoon, players, Nathan Cleary specifically, said that the players are still prepared to strike if they need to. I don't think it's going to come to that. It'll get sorted out in the next couple of days. But what was interesting was that the NRL has agreed in principle to a CBA for the women, for the NRLW.
Sure.
So by 2025, the NRLW will be running for 24 rounds. And the CBA will give the girls a salary cap of $900,000 this season in 2023, which will incrementally increase over the next 4 years. And in 2027, the salary cap will be $1.518 million. 1.5 million, basically. And the minimum wage this season will be $30,000. And again, that will increase incrementally over the next 4 years. And in 2027, it'll be $50,600.
Wow.
Minimum wage.
2027.
27, yeah.
So how many years away is that?
4 years.
Wow. Okay. So they can sign up Mitchell Moses, put a wig on, and there goes the cap. They've only got 100,000 to spare.
Look, it's
maybe we should shave one of their heads and take them on our books. Put them in place of Jacob Arthur.
Listen, at least that's what they wanted, and that's what they got. I probably would have went for a little bit more because by that time the game will be paying for its way. But you know what? It's good that NRL agreed,
when
and
you
we're
think
moving
about
forward.
They've achieved a lot in a 5-year gap.
Exactly.
Right? 5 years from now, their minimum wage is $50,000. Last year, the minimum wage for the men was $80,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
They've bridged the gap.
Yeah.
They're getting closer, in a short space of time.
It's what they wanted, and it's what they get. You know, I actually, like I said, I like the game, and I don't want the girls to get shafted. I know Rugby Union has come out with their CBA, and it's probably a bit stronger than that.
But they can't tackle above the waist.
They can't tackle. Actually, you know what? Since we reported that, it's a thing. They're doing that actually in England. They're not.
I can't believe that.
I can't wait to watch footage of it. And I was listening to SEN Sport, and the players here were complaining, saying, like, I can't believe it. We've seen it, we're watching it on television, and they're going, I can't believe it's happening. They're not tackling above the waist. It's crazy.
One thing I wanted to say about that, the salary thing, I'm not sure any of you guys know this, but do you know what the minimum wage is for a professional netball player? Because that's bigger idea. There. So I'll be interested to see what their
it's a good point.
salary is, because they've been playing that game for years. They've grown it. They've got some coverage on ABC and stuff.
Yeah.
Imagine being those girls and saying, "Oh my God, rugby league players are getting more than what we are." They might convert over to rugby league.
We'll do our homework and come back with that next week. But that's a really good point, because the is it the NBL
and the women's soccer too? Wonder what they're getting.
Women's soccer, but the women's netball that's
huge,
pretty big here in Australia. Yeah.
Exactly. So it'd be interesting.
I know for a fact that there's a lot of girls from netball going to playing rugby league.
There you go.
It's a big leap
for not for opportunity, because there's only a certain amount of girls that can make a netball team or make it at the highest level, and the money comes in at the highest level. What we're trying to achieve with NRLW, like the men, that they can make some sort of living playing not only lower level but entry phase as well. So I know of one girl who's playing for the Kellyville Rangers, and at the same time playing for the national Greek team, and at the same time in pathways for Parramatta. They've set her up in pathways, and she plays for under 18s for Australia for netball, and
netball as well.
Yep, and as all the kids do, they're going to make the decision on not what sport we love, who pays the most, which I don't think will work, but that's what she's doing. And her father, I just spoke to her father about half an hour
ago. That was okay.
That was him. So I know for a fact that's happening. But look, more to play the game, the better for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I enjoy it. I watched the Indigenous game, and I really enjoyed both.
The Broncos are talking to Kevin Walters about an extension.
Oh no!
Is that premature, or what are your thoughts on that?
I thought someone just messaged me.
I would wait until Origin time. Where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't think, personally, he's the man for the job. He's got a lot of good cattle. Maybe Seabolt was at one extreme, but I'm not sure. I haven't seen it.
It's a black mark when one of your superstars comes out in a podcast and says he's not a good coach.
2 superstars in the last 6 months. But the thing is, what happens if you sign him up for another, 2 years, and they don't make the 8 again? Because they didn't make the 8 last year.
No, they really should have.
Should have.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think it's premature, Nico.
I think so too. I'd wait.
I think Ben Eichen now he's part of the board. He's high up there, and he's a pretty smart administrator. He's turned that club around in 1 year.
Yes.
So
he's a very good
for them
operator.
to be contemplating it, the fans must really buy into what Walters is saying, except for Selwyn. Ben Eichen wouldn't be making these decisions if he doesn't think it's right. So
I mean, Kevin Walters is still a link in the chain to the good old days of the Broncos. So he won 5 premierships there as a player.
Yeah, it's difficult because I like Kevy. I really do like Kevy. And I think he can coach to some standard. But, are we going to put him in the same breath as Demetriou at the moment? I wouldn't put him in the same breath as Demetriou or some of the other or some of the other coaches.
Well, is this premature then? The Sharks have extended Craig Fitzgibbon for another 4 years.
No.
No.
It's not premature. 4 years.
To the end of 27.
See, that's a big commitment.
That's
for
a huge commitment.
League team.
Yeah.
But
is that 1 year?
Yeah.
Is that 1 year? He did a fantastic job.
Fantastic job. You know what? You look at the man's character before you look at his coaching ability.
Yeah.
And there's no mistake. Fitz is, and you would know better than me because he played for the Dragons. Fitz's character is unquestionable.
Yeah.
And that comes out in his team. It comes out in his team. And you know what? Nico was great at Melbourne, but he's fantastic here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all those players who he's spawned and improved. And when you hear him talk, and I go back again, I go back to that cold, rainy Saturday night against the Panthers.
Penrith, yeah.
And I saw enough. For his first effort, I saw enough there. So it's not premature.
You know what? Before the State of Origin, you'd be saying that Demetriou and Fitzgibbon and Walters were doing the same job. They were both being really good with their teams.
Yeah.
You want a coach who brings the best out of his players, and that's what I think Walters was doing last year. The Broncos players, up until Origin, were playing out of their skins. They were playing really good football. He was playing them to their potential, and that's what you want in a coach. So I wouldn't give up on Walters. I think he's going to do another good job.
I'm going to create some controversy here. I'm still not sold on Demetriou.
Oh wow! Oh,
he took over a team that made 4 preliminary finals in a row. So let's not get carried away just yet.
He took over a really hard job. It's easy
He
to
took
go
over a
backwards,
really good team.
he
but
did.
a really hard job.
That
What happens when Supercoach leaves? Usually,
Yeah, I know, but this is different because Supercoach built it up for him to take over.
Yeah.
They're the only club who didn't sign anyone in the off season, so they're stocked really well.
they're stocked well.
And I'm not saying he's not, but I'm just saying he's taken over a coach that's been in 5 prelims in a row.
Yep.
Right? He's taken over a team he hasn't taken over a team that didn't make the 8.
No, point taken, and we'll see what happens. I mean, the future will tell us the story, but there's a lot of good I see there.
Mate.
Tell me something. Could South use who's the halfback for South at the moment?
future Greek immortal, Ilias. And that's the thing with Dimitri. He had a young half who was playing his first full season.
I was really impressed with what he did with him when he hooked him and brought him back a couple of weeks later. And
exactly.
Yeah.
And their best player, what's his name? Latrell Mitchell, he was missing for half the season.
That's what I said to George. They only came good when he came back.
Exactly. So he was missing his gun player.
So the question is, should the future Greek immortal be benched for Mitchell Pearce? Because Mitchell Pearce said that he wants 1 year back in the NRL, guys. The question is, who's going to take him? So we know that before he went over.
I know who'll take him.
Before he went over to the Super League, he offered his services to the West Tigers, and they declined.
Really?
Now he stated he wants to finish his career in the NRL with one more season. Who could that be? Who would be interested?
Easy, mate. Hook. He loves his old blokes. He'll get him in there for sure. All he has to do is approach Saints. Ask them for $1 million.
He might get 2 years.
Then we'll have Ben Hunt and Mitchell Pearce, the two oldest halves in the world. We had the old bloke.
I honestly believe that no one will take it. I really don't believe no one will take it. And why he wants to leave the south of France is beyond me. I actually watched him play Super League. I watched Super League. And can I say he was very underwhelming, okay? But you know what? It's Mitchell Pearce, and they all talked him up, but he really didn't.
But I know where he'll be. Moses will go to the Tigers, and Brad Arthur will sign Mitchell Pearce at the end. And then we'll have a spine that has a combined age of 146.
Maybe Gus
and I'm talking about two players.
He's a pretty good player. Like he's an impact player. He does make a difference to a team when he's on.
Maybe Gus.
He's a bit older now, but Gus. But maybe the Titans might have a sniff.
Newcastle really missed him when he left.
Yes. No.
We saw the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they did.
And imagine if this will be funny. Imagine the Titans have a sniff. They'll have Foran and Pierce. Right. On their day, are they? There you go.
They're really good friends.
I can see the Titans maybe having a nibble. You never know.
They're really close friends off the field, those two.
Okay, there you go. That's puts fuel in the fire. But look, I don't think he'll come back.
Even Supercoach Dolphins, isn't it? What's his name? Bennett isn't even interested.
Well, speaking of the Supercoach, explain this one to me. He was MIA at the Dolphins' first ever trial game.
Really?
He wasn't there.
Wonder what happened there.
He Gordon Tallis had a dig at him over the media, saying, "How could you not be there for your club's first ever official trial game?" And Wayne Bennett's response was, "I was training the first graders who didn't play." My take on that is, do you have to train them at the same time? Couldn't you train them the day before or in the morning? You have to be there. Come on.
I don't think he wanted to be there. Probably number one.
Well, that's a good start.
Look, he's lucky he's got Christian Wolf, because we all know he's a good coach.
He took the reins.
Yeah, he's lucky he's got Christian.
Well, they've got that arrangement that you were saying before, where they've got the super coach and the guy that's going to come in. Yeah, they're doing the same thing as the Tigers.
Yeah.
But for him to miss their first trial to train the first grade, that means he's really focusing on them winning that first game. Like, he's really putting a lot of pressure on himself, and he's, you know what I mean, to do that.
Where was the trial match at?
I'm not sure. I think they were at home, but I'm not sure.
Were they?
Yeah.
I was going to say, maybe he just didn't want to travel because he lives on a farm somewhere.
Well, you know what? Retire. It's part of your job.
You know,
it's the club's first ever official.
It's a trial.
I know, but it's still the first ever. It was televised, Arthur.
I don't know. I think we're a bit harsh.
You know,
the coach didn't show up.
He's nearly 80. He's all
their
right.
first ever game in their history.
Well, I don't know, man.
You know?
He's stressing out. He wants to get his first grade team right.
Ivan Cleary was in hospital when he missed the Panthers games last year, but yeah, anyway, that's Wayne Bennett, isn't it? It's just
so Wayne Bennett.
You know what he's doing? He's taking the focus off the team. He's making the media talk about him. He's the master of doing it.
I wouldn't be surprised if Sachin took him in the Uber and took him to the wrong ground. That would make more sense. That's a possibility.
That's a possibility. He gets around Sachin.
You know what? Bennett runs to his own drum, his own beat. We all know that. And when the comp starts, he'll have this team up. I don't have too much expectations for him this year, but he'll have the team up.
Now, let's hope we don't get any more injuries out of this weekend's trials.
Yeah.
Because we've got a couple of notable ones. We've got, from the Melbourne Storm, fullback Pappenhausen and centre Justin Olin, both out for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
First 6 weeks of the competition.
What's up with Pap? His knee is still?
I think it's his hamstring or knee, something like that. Oh, Justin Olin broke his arm and had surgery.
Yeah, Justin.
We've got to get Nick Meaney to stop kicking Pappenhausen in the leg because Meaney's probably asking for the fullback spot.
Pappenhausen's
been unlucky,
done
man.
well. He has.
How unlucky.
And the Raiders have lost their fullback Savage.
That's a big
for 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Big blow.
That is huge.
Big blow.
So who'll take the fullback spot in the Raiders now? Will it be Rapana?
I think it'll be Rapana, yeah.
Rapana and
there you go. And then Croker comes in.
Croker comes in.
Toots. Seacon.
There you
Toots
go.
found his way back into the squad already.
And the kicker.
Here's a question. Will he be if he is named in the starting lineup, Croker, will he be the captain?
No, isn't Papa Licky the captain?
But Croker's been the captain for the last 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
No, I think Papa Licky.
He's still the incumbent, isn't he?
I think Papa Licky's going to be the.
Okay, but he's only on the field for half a game.
Oh, who was the captain? Who was the captain last year when?
I'm not sure.
Was Papa Licky? Was
Whiten.
Whiten didn't think of that. I mean,
Yeah, come on.
there's a great role model to have as captain. Someone who just got arrested last week.
Yeah.
It's all forgotten. It's all forgotten now. It's all forgotten, Nicola.
Let's talk Kalen Ponga at the Newcastle Knights. So,
my favourite topic.
So he had a press conference yesterday or the day before yesterday, which I watched in its entirety. It's 11 minutes. I'll never get back.
Yeah.
Really exposed nothing.
Yeah.
They asked him about the toilet cubicle incident. He said, I was sick.
Yeah.
Kurt Mann was in there just helping me out. So
I spoke to the doctor and he reckons that when you got a sore tummy, the best thing to do is to take a bourbon and Coke in the cubicle. Apparently fixes you up.
Yeah.
Like, why do they have to take the drinks in there? Like,
Yeah,
that's the part that just doesn't make sense. You
he
know
was
what
the
I mean?
captain of the club. The team was playing in Queensland and he was at home and he was out in Newcastle getting blottoed while he was rehabbing from an injury.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it very clear about Kalen Ponga. I don't believe him. He's not remorseful about anything. He says that he wants to repay the club, but he doesn't mean it. I can guarantee you. He's a selfish so-and-so because if he wasn't, he would have went to with Supercoach and he would have improved. There's no need to improve where he's at, okay? And can I say, I'll put a different way. What's our favourite hairdresser called?
Yeah, what's the name? Josephina.
Josephina.
Had someone in the chair who is close to the team, let's say, and she told me that it's not always rosy as it looks. So I don't believe him, and you know what? The results will show us.
Well, speaking on that, here's a question for the two of you. Let's forget about the off-field stuff. He will be starting the season at 5'8".
Yeah.
Alongside Jackson Hastings. What are your thoughts on that positional switch from fullback to half?
It's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
He's played there before. It's not foreign to him.
I think he's a quality player, and I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I want to see how he goes because he is a special player. He's really good. Yeah. He is fantastic on his day. And look, let the actions do the talking, mate. See what he does. I'd give him another crack. He did cop a lot of heat from it. So I think it's a good move. Who's going to be the fullback though?
I'm not sure who played.
The guy they bought from Cronulla.
Okay, Lachlan Miller. So yeah, that makes good sense. Keep him close to the action. Give him more ball in hand.
I've heard Josephina told me that what we expected to happened. The control freak is just controlling everything.
Yeah.
That young Hastings.
Yeah.
Okay. From the minute he jumped on that field, he started barking orders, and they listened. That's one thing. But O'Brien is putting Ponga in the centres at 5'8", at fullback. He's moving him around. So
I've actually heard the same thing from my sources.
Yeah, he's playing 5'8". There's no doubt about it. Now let me get back to Kalen. Kalen is a type of guy who makes me sick because to have.
You've really got it in for it, don't you?
Well, you know why? I'll tell you why. To have talent like he has and to abuse it. I wish I had quarter of his talent.
But how's he abusing it?
Is he producing?
Is that all?
He's got 1.2.
Yeah, but I mean, so's Luke Brooks. Really?
Well,
I mean,
he shouldn't be there.
I mean,
that's the club. That's on the club.
I know, but what I'm saying is,
he's trying hard.
Is it all necessarily his fault, or can we put it down to the team around him as well?
Okay, you're absolutely right.
If we're talking about the off-field, it's nothing. He was in a toilet cubicle with a bourbon. When you compare that to some of the other stuff that's happening, right?
No, they all do it. I know that, and it's happened. It's right this moment. It's happening. Okay, but I'm talking about the human being, the person. Okay. Did he want 1.2 or 1.3 million? Yeah, he got it.
Yeah, but you can't knock him for that.
No.
Exactly.
All power. Yeah. Give him more. Okay, but repay it back. Okay. Now, in 4 years he's been there, I haven't seen any payment back. Okay, but wait a minute. We went one cold night to Queensland and we showed what we can do. Not what we can do at a level of Slater, what we can do. And we come back to Newcastle, who gives us the 1.2 million, okay, and we're walking around the back, not really just participating.
Would you say that he performed in last year's Origin series?
One game, absolutely. At a level, at an extraordinary high level.
But is it fair to say at Newcastle, it's a I mean, they have been injury ravaged for the last two seasons, and he's playing behind a weak pack. And fullback's the hardest position to get involved in when your team's being dominated.
Wait a minute. Okay. You think if you put Teddy there, he would stand out? If you put Teddy in Newcastle, would he stand out? Simple question.
No way to the degree that he is at the moment.
Would he stand out?
No. Not to the degree he is at the moment.
He wouldn't look like the best player on the team.
He will.
Nickel, he wouldn't look like the best player in Newcastle.
He might.
Are you kidding?
He might, right? But look who he's playing behind
No.
moment.
You put Teddy in Newcastle. Is he going to look in 80 minutes that he's the best player on that team? Not on the ground, on that team.
It's hard to say. I can't say, George, because he won't be getting the same service. He won't be getting the same field position.
That.
No, well, but one's connected to the other. You can't just say, will he be the best or won't he be the best?
Okay.
Let's rephrase it. If you put him at the Gold Coast, will he be the best player on the team?
Yes, he would. Let's rephrase that, okay? Would he give his 100%?
Of course he would.
Okay. Do you believe Kalen Ponga, for 80 minutes in 4 years, has given his 100%? Have you seen a game? Fuck. Kalen Ponga, 100%. You ripped it apart today.
I have. I honestly have. I've been impressed with some of his games.
Can you say
He's pulled Newcastle out of the fire.
Not seconds and minutes.
No, but George, can you say that about any player in any team giving 100% every week?
What's the difference?
Yes.
What's the difference with him and Latrell?
Teddy had shockers too.
Yes. But look at Latrell. He only gets 5 or 6 touches and he changes the game. That's what Kalen does too. He's one of those guys. Give him the ball 3 or 4 times and he'll set you a try. He scores tries out of nothing. He does. His vision is pretty damn good. I don't know, man. I think he's a pretty special.
You know what? Look, I think playing 5'8" is a completely different thing, right?
Yes.
He'll be doing a lot more defending.
Yes.
He'll get his hands on the ball a lot more.
Yeah.
Let's wait and see. I
think it's going to be a challenge on his defence.
I see your point. I think that if I'm understanding what you're saying correctly, then you're saying he's happy to take the money, but he's really not putting in the effort. We should be seeing more from him.
That's what I'm saying.
And I get that. I get that.
What about from a defensive point, though? Because now that he's going to be at 5'8", he's going to be doing a lot more tackling. Okay, I think that's going to impact his game more. So I wouldn't move him.
It's a different
personally,
game.
I wouldn't put him at 5'8". I'd leave him where he was.
Well,
more chance of injury now. As the guy's made out of glass.
A 6 is technically not part of the spine. I'll disagree, sort of thing. But technically, a 6 isn't a spine. But
won't the forwards be running at him all the time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
He'll be the spot.
Exactly.
There's no doubt.
So I think
There's no doubt in my mind he'll be the spot.
Let's move on from Toilet Gate.
And can I just say, after wrapping that up, like I really want him to do really good because I love watching good rugby league.
Yeah,
he just, you know what? I was someone who with very limited amount of talent, but I tried really hard. And when I look at people like Ponga with so much talent and who don't supposedly don't try. What I perceive that it kills me.
If you want to see,
It
if you really want to see him get the best out of Ponga, Hastings shouldn't be halves partner.
Shouldn't be.
No, Jacob Arthur.
Jacob,
Yeah, Jacob.
You're a winner, Jacob.
I think he'd fit right in there.
Actually,
Make it happen. Make it happen.
Poor Arthur. Poor Arthur.
Watched him play the trial last week. Watched for 10 minutes. Saw him kick out in the full twice. Had a good game.
Twice, yeah.
Peter V'landys. Kumbari V'landys. Talking about possibly moving the grand final. Now, I don't want to see it leave Sydney because I'm a traditionalist.
Makes me angry.
What do you guys think?
Well, I hope Qatar don't go on and make a bid for it because we'll probably take the money and go to Qatar for one game like they did the World Cup.
You won't be able to have a beer.
Exactly. It's it should stay in Sydney, but I can understand if two Brisbane teams, Queensland teams are playing, they move that grand final to Suncorp. I can understand that, but it should stay in Sydney, mate. That's my opinion anyway.
I've got a lot to say about this. It should stay in Sydney.
Go for it.
It should stay in Sydney. Not only it should stay in Sydney, it should be a week of celebration. You know what? Rugby league is it's like half in, not fully. So you know what? We have the Super Bowl in America, and it's a 2-week lead-in, and it's a festival of 2 weeks before the actual game, and even the halftime entertainment is more watched than the game.
No, well, that's the best part.
That's the best part.
You ask me.
So let's think about it. I'm going to throw up a scenario. Imagine that 1 week. Let's say the grand finals are made, and Monday we start around the Homebush area. It's a very big area. Okay, we have players there. Okay, we have stores, and for all week we have I don't know, players doing the sprint races, stores. I can't imagine, but the whole week to be a celebration of this game, building up the anticipation. You know what I mean?
I've got to be honest with you. I agree, and I think the format in the finals should be that both teams in the grand final get the week off before it. That's what I'd like to see.
So 2-week build up you're talking about?
Yeah, I'd like to see I'd like to see the format so that the two grand finalists get a week off before the grand final. But in being completely honest with you, and I want to see it stay in Sydney, I think what you're talking about, I think Brisbane would leave us for dead.
Yes, absolutely they would.
If they did that.
Because Magic Round is
perfect
better.
Example.
Magic Round is better than the grand final. It's got more anticipation.
We should go to Magic Round
we
this
should.
year.
It's themed, but it's sold out now. I checked. It's got the Greeks say panigiri. What is it in English?
Festival.
Like 1 weekend of a festival in Brisbane, okay? But that's what they should do here in rugby league. Make it a week of festival, and then the centerpiece is the game. And if they want to put their hand in their pockets and bring out a big act,
God, don't bring Jimmy Barnes out.
Not
again,
Jimmy Barnes.
please.
I don't want to see Jimmy Barnes.
No.
Let's bring an international act. You know what I mean? To make it some relevant. You know what? I'm sick and tired of seeing Jimmy Barnes. Seriously.
You had Kiss and Guns N' Roses here,
I know.
and we had Jimmy Barnes at the grand final.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, how much can they want? How much can Gunners or Kiss want?
I know.
Give it to them.
I know.
You know what I mean?
For a half an hour performance.
It'll be memorable. But seriously, I don't know what they do.
I think it's inevitable that the grand final will move because they are trying to grow the game, right? And I think that
Exactly. It's a business decision. Man.
Yeah.
You got to take the cash if it's
I'd
available.
love to see it stay. I'd love to see it stay here, but I think it's inevitable that we'll see it shift.
Yeah.
Maybe not permanently, but it might rotate. You know, it might be 1 year here, 1 year there. Maybe like the Origin series.
Yeah.
Just take
I
it
wouldn't be surprised if they played in Perth.
No, just take it to Brisbane and Sydney. I wouldn't take it anywhere else.
I mean, imagine if they moved it to Brisbane last year and you had a Western Sydney grand final.
Yeah.
That would have sucked.
Well, look, I work at Olympic Park and we get tickets to events. And when Brisbane played North Queensland Cowboys, they were giving away free tickets because they couldn't fill the stadium. So that game there should have been in Suncorp.
Yeah.
So I understand where V'landys is going. You got to grow the game, man, and take the cash when it's available. And it'd be good to have it in Sydney, but it depends on the circumstances, man. If you've got the two Queensland teams,
I think we'll see it shift. Yeah, move. I think so.
It's a shame.
I think so.
Sure.
Let's move on to this weekend. Something I've been looking forward to: the Battle of Destiny, the World Club Championship, Penrith versus St Helens.
Yep.
Now, St Helens apparently moved their training camp from the Golden Beaches of, I think they were in Bondi.
Mm-hmm.
They moved to Homebush because they wanted to prepare in the Western Sydney heat.
Who was that?
So they're taking it seriously, St Helens.
Okay.
They moved their training camp. The players would have loved that. They moved their training camp from the Northern Beaches to Homebush.
I'm surprised because I work in Homebush and I walk past the City of Excellence there, whatever the New South Wales. And usually when the Origin teams they train there, I never saw. No,
I read that yesterday, so I'm not sure.
I saw them on television training.
I'm not sure where. I'm not sure where they're training. Yeah.
Maybe it was yesterday, mate.
But I know Artie. I know you guys, and we'll touch on this shortly. But you guys played them last weekend. Did you watch the trial?
I did, mate. I watched them play the Dragons. The Dragons, it was mostly made up of reserves, and I wasn't impressed with St Helens, to be honest.
Were they mostly made up of reserves?
No.
They had their full team.
They had their full team against a really weak St George side, which had like 10 players missing. So
all the NRL teams did actually.
They scored 5 tries to 3, and I've got to say 2 or 3 of them were from mistakes from the Dragons. So I was watching that thinking, man, Penrith are going to really...
George, fair to say Penrith are going to wax them?
Absolutely whack them. Smash them.
You know, what worries me is that Penrith's back row's changed. Now, I hope that like I've said all last year, and I'll see if I'm proven wrong, the system's first and the players are second. So if that's the case, come 50 minutes and the pressure that Penrith's going to apply to St Helens, they've never seen that before in their lives, okay? And they will break down. But let me tell you, this St Helens team is 3/4 the English
They're
team.
taking it seriously.
Very
I've read
serious.
some statements from the players. They're taking it seriously,
They are 4-time champions in England, okay? They honestly believe that, like the English team did, and they got let down, okay? They honestly believe that they can match it, okay? I don't think they can, okay? They haven't had 80 minutes of sustained pressure ever, because come 45 minutes, they usually well overpowered their opposition, their leads, whatever they're playing.
Is it at Bluebet Stadium, Penrith? Yeah,
it's at Penrith. Now, what's going to be bad? It's going to be 40 degrees. It's going to be. They've never seen that heat in their lives. The English players. That's going to
really fatigue them.
It'll prepare them for Qatar, the grand final.
That's right. Yeah.
That's going to prepare for Qatar. There is. All I can say is they're fully loaded. Okay.
Do you want me to read out the lineups, mate?
They don't really line us. Bring it here, and I'll just point out some players. Now, they've got a fullback, and everybody says that he plays similar to Teddy. Guess what? He doesn't. But
does anybody?
No. But that's what they say. His name is Jack Wellesby. Good player, very good player actually. But is he anything like Teddy? No. But that's what they say. Tommy Makinson, very good player. Winger,
he's
goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Never heard of her.
Never heard of her. He's a very good player. We know Will Hopewadi.
Of course.
Yes,
Okay.
Mr. Reliable.
Yep.
Wait a second. Are they playing on Sunday?
Saturday.
Okay, that's why he's playing. All right,
Cool.
A player called Mark Percival. He's a centre. Okay. He's actually very good. He's a strong, hard-running centre. I think they're gonna rip him apart on the inside shoulder, but he's very good in Super League. There's a player called John Lomax.
Oh, is he over there?
Yeah, Lomax.
Okay.
Not that one, the English one. You're thinking about the Australian one.
Yeah,
the Canberra one, ex-Canberra player.
Yeah. No, sorry. I was thinking of the St George player.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
Lomax,
He actually had a good game over the weekend. Okay. Everybody look at a player, a front row called Alex
Walmsley. He's a big unit. Yeah,
he's a big unit.
Huge.
He makes humongous meters through the middle of in Super League, and let me tell you, he by the 60th minute, he's cracking their defence. Now, I got this funny feeling the Penrith pack will sort him out, like they do. But this is what he does in England. This is what he does in England. We know Curtin Stirian, and he had a good game against St George, actually.
Yeah. Oh, is he there? Is he?
Yeah. But my question is, would Curtis Stirian make any team in the NRL?
Yeah, I think he would, but he wouldn't be a starter. I don't think.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't think he'd be a starter.
And the other one is James Roby. He's a veteran player. He's a hooker, a veteran player, but he would have, in his heyday, he would have played NRL. No doubt in my mind. What worries me is the back row of Garner, Hoskin,
and
Yo. Well,
Garner's a good player. I think he's going to
they're both
absolutely
good.
kill
they're
it.
both good.
But he's only just joined from the Tigers, right? Yeah.
They're both good, but it's not Kickow and what's that other edge back row? He's an animal. Plays for Australia. For Penrith.
Fisher Harris.
No, the back row.
No, he's a prop.
Anyway.
Spencer Liniu.
No, he's on the bench.
He's on the bench. He's a gun too, man.
He's on the bench. But if you ask me, if everything goes right, Penrith by the end of that match will be holding another trophy.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And the score might be 13 plus.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's all pretty easy.
But St Helens believe.
Takes a lot more than belief, George.
No, I know it does, but they believe.
Yeah.
They believe. They
I've
believe that they're equal. I don't think they are. Again, if Penrith do what they do and apply 80 minutes of pressure, I can guarantee you St Helens have never had 80 minutes of pressure. Never had 80 minutes of pressure. Not in England anyway.
Looking forward to seeing this Saturday.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to this one.
Let's have a look at last week's trial games. Just incidentally, back on the Qatar thing, during last year's World Cup when we were doing the podcast, George actually asked me, he said, can you name me two Qatar players? I said, well, yeah, Slash and Eddie Van Halen. Anyway, that's about it. But
I remember that.
Moving on to the trial game results. So, guys, just give me a little bit on your thoughts on this. So, the Broncos and the Titans drew 24-all. Anyone see that?
Yeah, I saw all of them. Broncos, you know what? Genuine trial match. It was entertaining at parts.
Important to point out, most of these teams...
They were Reggies.
Yeah.
Reggie players.
I
think the Titans didn't really put too many first graders on. And nor did the Broncos. It was entertaining. That's all I can say. It was a mistake. It was a mistake-riddled game.
Yeah.
It was entertaining. I enjoyed watching it. Rugby league's on, but I read nothing into this game.
Another draw. Cowboys Dolphins 22-all. Incidentally, I saw the kickoff to this game.
Yeah.
The Dolphins' first ever touch in their history was a knock-on. Did you see that from the kickoff?
Sure did.
I didn't see it. I don't think Bennett saw it, but anyway.
Bennett was busy.
He saw the shorts. He saw the shorts and didn't see that one.
Bennett was playing bocce at the bowling club in Redcliffe.
What a bad touch, eh? How did it start your career, eh?
Yeah. George, I'm going to direct this one at you. Raiders Bulldogs, 34-18 to the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
We already spoke a little bit about how good Reid Marnie was, but there were others who impressed as well.
Let me go to the Raiders again. I don't read much into the Raiders' performance. It was a trial match. A lot of Reggies were playing. The bad thing is that Savage got injured, and that really hurt me. And
you don't want to see that.
Worst thing getting injuries at trials, and that's why I don't believe that the superstars should play trials. But you know what? There's some of the Reggies look good. They're a very big team. They're a big team for Canberra, and if they get called up, a lot of them are ready.
How did you think Quirkham went?
He actually played. You know what? He kicked goals.
Yeah,
he went all right, but it's not trial matches are not intense.
Don't forget, it was his first game in a long time as well.
I think Ricky would have been pleased.
Yeah.
Now for Canterbury, this is what I saw. Okay, because I've watched them. I watched them over the last years, which they were all dreadful to Paul. Okay, Serrato, I got to admit, after all my negativity, has sprinkled his his magic dust.
Mr. Popular.
Mr. Short term. Now, they looked like they've played together for years. It's not disjointed. It's very drilled and a very direct type of rugby league.
How did Josh Reynolds go?
You know what? The guy's full of beans.
Oh, yeah.
He brings on energy. He brings so much energy to the team. Okay, if you told me last year I was going to sign Reynolds, I would have said no, don't do it. But you know what? It's the best thing they've done for the dressing room.
Okay? I reckon Belmore will be a sellout this weekend.
It will be a sellout. Yeah. Absolutely,
There's a double header.
Double header as well. Okay, and when Josh came on and they only played the 4 of the stars played only. And Naomi played for 15 minutes and he took them straight off, okay? So basically the whole team were Reggies and some of them look pretty good. But I'm going to talk about the main players. I talked about when Reid came on, okay? I can't believe what I saw. He didn't show that at Parramatta. And if he showed that at Parramatta...
You have been watching Parramatta for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Not what? Did you
His
watch?
His defence is amazing.
Did you watch him? Defence, yes, always. We know
he didn't do anything that I haven't seen him do.
Okay, well then
consistently. That's why I've been telling you how good of a buy he is.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't believe what I saw, and not only that, he made everybody else around him for that 15 minutes, including Josh Reynolds, look like superstars. And you know when you can tell when he went off, okay, the whole mood and the whole play changed. What I really liked is when the Bulldogs were on top, they were wheeling and dealing. And this is exactly what happens to Penrith. When Canberra made a run, they just went straight back to their systems, okay? Not held on. They just rolled their system out, got to the kick, rolled the systems out. Carbon copy of what Penrith do. Now, don't get me wrong. By far, I'm not saying that.
You've got a Penrith backbone in there. You've signed half the team, you've got their assistant coach.
But what I'm seeing is improvement and
Phil Gould.
That's what we. Phil Gould. Phil Gould's still doing his thing.
That whole Penrith blueprint is there.
Yeah.
What about Flanagan?
He played. You know what? If you surround him with Reid Marnie on one side, okay, Burton on the other side, okay, and he has to do a specific job, okay, he's going to be fine.
I think he'll be good. Yeah.
But unfortunately, number 7 is part of the spine, and you can't be just fine. So you name me the last last halfback who's just fine with a trophy.
Jamie Soward.
Jamie Soward. Yeah, but that year he wasn't just fine.
He had a good kicking game. But apart from that,
that year he wasn't just fine.
Let's not overanalyze the first trial game.
First trial, mate. That's what I said. It was one game. It was one game, but he looked sensational.
Moving along, the Roosters beat the Storm 32-24. What did Cheese look like?
Yeah, sensational. All I can say is, number one, where the Roosters find their cattle, I have no idea, because they're humongous human beings. I don't know where they find them. And you know what? Not only are they humongous human beings, they're quality human beings, quality rugby league players. Cheese came on with Radley for 15 minutes. Okay, Cheese looks like a completely different player. I don't believe he was a hooker when he came to the club. Guess what? In 6 weeks, Robbo's made him into a hooker.
Yeah, super coach.
His combination...
he's played a lot of hooker in the last few years.
Yeah, but one thing playing hooker, another thing being a hooker, okay? Then his relationship with Radley, okay? Radley's going to have a sensational season this year.
If they avoid the injury toll they had last year, I've got him in the top 2.
Oh yeah, for sure. And let me tell you, if Butcher doesn't force him his way into the first grade team, I'll be a monkey's uncle. Mm-hmm. He was very good.
Which one? There's a few of them. I think there's Nat Butcher.
Nat.
He's very good.
He's very good. So look, I was impressed with the Roosters.
Artie St. Helens 30 points to 18 over the Dragons. You touched on it before.
Yeah, look,
Not impressed?
I wasn't impressed with St Helens that much. Dragons put a lot of juniors in there. It was good to see some of the juniors. Trace Stewart played fullback. He looked okay, but yeah, it was a trial, mate, so it's a good hit out.
Panthers 22 to 16 over the Eels.
I saw nothing.
I didn't see that one.
No, I mean, the Panthers, all of their junior clubs won every competition, so they've got depth to the nines in that club. So
that was probably the most disappointing game from all of them in terms as a spectacle.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a lot of individual good performances, but as a whole, it wasn't a fantastic game.
Yeah. When Jacob Arthur's starting, that's pretty much what you got to expect.
Poor Jake. You're going to cop it all year.
He's going to be copping.
There was only one shellacking over the weekend, and that was the Warriors, 48 points to 12 over the Tigers.
Yes.
Now, I did see some of this, and the Tigers virtually had nobody. But I did notice the Warriors did have quite a few first-team players, not for the whole game, but they did throw a lot of them out there. They rested their stars, but they, regardless, 48 points, it's too much.
Webster who?
Yeah,
there
exactly.
you go.
Exactly. Webster who. But the Tigers had nobody.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to read nothing into this for the Tigers. But what I did see is this. For the Tigers, the youngster that I've been raving about, I can't pronounce his name, Justin Mananutu. Okay.
Yeah.
I said
is that the forward who got sent off in his debut?
Yeah. At the end of last year, I said he's ready for first grade. I'm going to take that back, and I'm going to say he's not quite ready. He needs 3 to 4 months in Regis, but he will be special.
Stefano Yukamatu was very impressive. He captained them.
The
youngster who came from Parramatta.
The youngster, the front rower?
Yeah.
He's a humongous
he's good.
human being.
Parra tried to keep him.
Yeah, I get it.
He went to the Tigers because he wanted to play first grade.
Okay, he's very good. Now Webster, who we're going to know Webster, who
he seemed to be enjoying himself in the stands.
Yeah, he has sprinkled that Penrith DNA, and let me explain what I mean. Exactly the same as what Serrato has done. He's given them all a job and a purpose and a structure. Look, there's some players who are very good in the Warriors. There's no doubt about it. Are they going to improve? I think they are.
Yeah.
But it's the first game. It's a trial match, and watch your space. But they were good.
I'm impressed with their spine. I'm interested to see their spine. They've got Clockstad, and then you've got the Tamari Martin, who I think is going to possibly be buy of the
They've
season.
got Dylan Walker as well now.
Yeah,
on the bench. Yeah,
but Tamari Martin and Johnson, I think he might be the buy of the season. Tamari
and
Martin.
You got Nakore from Parramatta. That's a big pickup.
And then you got Egan at hooker. So just a spine. It's a pretty good spine. And
no.
He's assembled a decent squad.
Yeah, they're decent. They're decent, and they're not going to get flogged like last year. You know what I
mean? Yeah. The Sharks 28 to 16 over Newcastle.
Yeah,
not much to see here, right?
It was entertaining, but not much.
What did you guys think, or what do you think of the preseason tournament overall? The whole 12 points for a win. I mean, it was obvious last week. No one's really taking it seriously, but there's $100,000 there.
Yeah. And the team that needs it the most is coming first. I think it's the Roosters. They're coming first. So it's good to see.
You know what? I know what NRL's trying to do. And it was off the back of last year with the ratings. But you know what? It's a trial match. And you can see that the coaches are treating it exactly like that. They're just trial matches.
It is time for our crystal ball segment.
Oh,
gentlemen.
Crystal ball segment.
So just to explain to our listeners, so crystal ball is we look at predictions. This week we'll be looking at the bottom 9. Okay. So in other words, the teams that won't make the top 8.
Mm-hmm.
And next week we'll be looking at the top 8 and who we think will be in the grand final and Dally M and all that. And it's obviously, just a bit of fun because it's way too far away to accurately predict anything. But fellas, bottom 9, who have we got coming dead last?
You want to go first, Eddie?
Yeah, I got 18th is the Dragons.
How?
Really?
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
Boy will come 17th, and then they'll come 18th. That's how much faith I've got in my Dragons. I'm really
I've got the Dolphins, to be honest.
The Dolphins?
Yeah. Be a tough first year for them.
I can't see Bennett winning a spoon, man.
I've got the Dolphins.
First time
He'll avoid it. He'll avoid it with everything.
He'll quit. He'll quit 2 weeks before.
He'll avoid it.
He won't show up.
Adi, you've got all the dirt there. What are they going to run out as the spine?
With who?
The Dolphins.
The Dolphins?
Tell us what they're going to run out
okay,
of the
mate. Let me have a look at this.
But look, they got an aging pack.
I'm not experienced there, but
yeah, you can say that experience, and yes, they can do things that others can't because they got the experience, but they look slow on paper.
I think their depth is a real issue. If they get injuries.
But can I just say something? I saw their SG ball team.
Yep.
My God, Father.
Impressive or not?
My God, they're sensational. They're special.
I hope
kids.
so, because that's what they'll need to be competitive.
Yeah, well, when Christian Wolf takes them, they're going to be coming through. So, that's the idea. What would be the spine?
The spines, with fullback, they've got Tabau Fido, which is the hammer.
Yeah.
Hammer. And then the halves are Milford and Sullivan, and Marshall King's the hooker.
Wait a second, is that the hammer from the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he went over.
Yeah.
So, okay, the hammer's very, very quick.
Mm-hmm.
We'll leave it there because we didn't really see too much at the Cowboys.
He was impressive.
Yeah.
Off the bench.
Yeah. I have got no faith in Milford. I have no faith in Milford.
Yeah.
Jeremy King's a good player.
Milford did play well under Bennett.
He did.
At Brisbane.
Mm.
He did. It's probably the only time
So
he did play.
He knows how to set
He's
the
probably
team.
the only coach who can get the best out of him. If we're going to see the best that we can see out of Milford at this point in his career, I think Wayne Bennett's the man to bring it out.
True.
Okay, I agree. And
their back row's Gilbert, who played for, is a good player, and then you've got Kafusi and Bromwich. So
both Bromwiches are there. Both brothers.
Yeah. To me, on paper, they look tired and slow.
Sorry, I might have missed it. Is Jeremy Marshall King the hooker?
Yes, he's the hooker. Yeah. So it's a decent spine, and that's why I haven't got them as last. I've got that as a better pack than what the Dragons have at the moment.
We'll see. I think they might come last. I'm with Nico.
Yeah.
Who makes up the other bottom line?
I've got the Knights.
You got the Knights? After I just wrapped up, I've got the Warriors.
You got the Warriors?
I've got the Warriors. They're just one of those teams.
It's just hard to see them.
Put faith.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
They'll start like a house on fire. Don't get me wrong. It's just the back end of the year.
They'll just disappoint you. They'll find a way to disappoint you. Right.
In terms of the night, I don't believe it, and I think the coach has lost the dressing room. This is my opinion. This is just my opinion. Sure. I don't think he's a strong enough coach. There's question marks on Ponga. Thank God for the control freak, because the halfback and the control of the team will be good. There's no depth, man.
Let me just run through the spine.
There's no depth.
I'll show you the spine, mate. It's Lachlan Miller, who's fullback. Then you've got Ponga and Hastings in your halves. And then you've got Brayley in the hooker role. But your back row is Elliott, Fitzgibbon and Frizzell. So it's a pretty decent team with the Saifidi brothers on either side of the prop. So
can you say that
on paper it's good?
Is that equal to what you told me about the Dolphins? Is that equal to the Dolphin pack?
It's pretty similar, yeah. You're right. It is pretty similar.
They both come second last then.
But I've got a lot of faith in Ponga and Hastings. I think they're a pretty decent
I think Hastings will inject something.
Exactly.
I'm going to stop hassling the kid, and I'm going to wait to watch the first game with bated breath, and I want to see a young number 6 with Ponga on his back absolutely carve up for...
And if he doesn't, you'll smash him against the wall.
He's welcome to get up every morning.
He needs more than one game.
Yeah, no, I'll give you more. I'll give you more than one game. I'll give you more.
Who'd you have a 16, mate?
Who'd you have 16?
Gold Coast.
The Titans?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they'll improve, but I don't think they'll improve much. I think, for me, the worrying signs were Justin Holbrook just didn't seem to have the answers. I watched the press conference for each game, after every game, and all his press conference, the body language that you get from the coach tells you so much.
Yeah.
And he was very similar to Maguire in his last few weeks at the Tigers. He just didn't have the answers.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll sort of tend to agree because I believe Sexton should be the halfback. That the halfback who he put on, which his name eludes me, the kid's a hooker playing halfback. Who was it, Adi?
Well, I got the starting spine, if you want me to say it. It's AJ Brimson at fullback, and then you've got Foran and Boyd.
Foran and Boyd. So Boyd to me...
Tanner Boyd. He's pretty good. I'll rate him. The blondie. He's the blonde guy.
Yeah, I like Sexton better.
Yeah.
As a controlling half, I like Sexton better. You have got Foz, which will possibly help whoever's playing next to him.
Hasn't set the world on fire in the last 5 years, has he?
He played well last year.
How well?
He played okay. It wasn't too bad.
They lost their last 8 games of the year.
Yeah, well, that wasn't because of him. That was because of some jersey.
I think he's just pretty beaten up. He's pretty physically beaten up.
I think he'll do well, and I think he might even unlock.
I hope so. But I don't think Fafita will be there. He's going to be at Penrith.
Is he?
That's the rumour.
Yeah, no.
Really?
Yeah, his management's talking to Penrith.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, that's a huge coup.
Okay.
And
they were talking to Canberra, but that went quiet.
What about Verrills? He's a hooker. Is he injured?
Yeah.
No.
He's
not
playing.
He's playing?
He's on.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
He's
I was
good.
disappointed because when we lost Reid Marnie to the Bulldogs, I was waiting to see who we'd pick up, and I was hoping Verrills would be an option.
Well, Saints were talking to this guy. I thought we had him locked and key, but
He's
then
a good
Titans
player.
came in, and I think even if the buy spoke to him, he would have gone to the buy for the Dragons. But yeah, Verrills is a great signing. I think he's going to do really good
he's a good player
for the Titans. Big Tino and Futuaka, they're good, decent props.
Love Tino.
And then you've got Fafita, Fillmore, and Clark in the back row. So it's a decent side.
Look, I've got him at 14.
Yeah.
You've got him a bit lower. I don't know what you've got him, Marty.
I've got him at 12.
12? You've got him a bit
Yeah,
higher.
I think just another year under their belts. I think Brimson's going to get even better. I like Boyd. Tanner Boyd to me was impressive. So I think he's going to do well. And the Verrills and Big Tino, I could see him. Jaden Campbell as well. He's another good little player.
Yeah, he is.
He played okay.
Well, Jaden Campbell should be fullback. He's only a fullback. Brimson should be 5'8". And to your point about Holbrook losing the plot a little bit, I think he's got the kids in wrong positions. I really believe that.
I like Holbrook. I want him to see him do well.
Me too.
But he just seemed.
And I want the Gold Coast to do well.
Yeah, he just seemed to be out of answers.
I think so. Maybe. Let's see. But
who else we got? What's the rest of it
look
like?
I've got. We'll get this out of the way. I got St George at 13. Sorry, Adi.
Yes.
I got St George at 13, and at 12 I got the Tigers as improvers. Who we got at 12?
Mate, I've got
the Tigers at 12. I've got the Dragons at 10.
10.
Yeah.
Okay.
At 10.
Yeah.
I got the Titans at 12, Dogs at 11, and Broncos at 10. I've got the Tigers at 9.
I've got the Bulldogs at 9.
I got the Dogs at 11. I've got Manly at 10. Now Manly could be either first or last.
They are literally the hardest team to predict. So another thing I read just yesterday, we all know Nathan Brown's on the outer at Parramatta. Mind you, after 10, 11 weeks of not playing, Brad Arthur plays him in the grand final.
Crazy.
I know what you're going to say here.
So apparently they're talking to Manly to do a swap deal with Morgan Harper.
I heard it's a done deal.
What the?
Here's a deal. Take Nathan Brown and take Jacob Arthur and keep Morgan Harper. That's just my opinion.
I heard it's a done deal, that one.
I reckon Manly should have just done even better and gone, can we take Penasini as well?
No, you know why we have to keep Penasini? You know Penasini re-signed.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he signed for another 4 years. But
God.
you know why we had to hold on to him? Because I don't know if you guys saw, he came out and said it himself. His best friend is Suwali. So he goes, I'm going to try and get him over to Parramatta. He goes, it's a tough sell, but I've already told him I want to see him in the blue and gold.
I didn't know that was.
So I'd be happy for that. Yeah, they're best friends. Yeah.
Well, look, the reason why I've gone Tigers so high, I think Laurie, Dewey, Brooks, Bateman in the back row, and Coruscant is a very, very good spine. If that fires, it's a very, very good spine.
They'll improve. They'll definitely improve. Yeah.
Look, they'll improve. We need the Tigers to do well for the rugby league, for the region, for my father. How much they're going to improve, I'm not sure. Bateman for me is still a question mark.
He was great.
He was great.
He's good, but he can cause a lot of problems behind the curtain.
He can cause a lot of problems. But look, the pack's strong.
Bateman, Papali'i, and Offen and Gowie.
Yeah,
that's a brilliant back row.
Clemmer.
Clemmer and Twal, the full.
Yeah. And you know what? Clemmer is he should be origin. He should be an origin.
Sean Bloor, who's had a lot of injury.
Yeah, he's another player.
He's a really good player if he can stay fit. Yeah.
No, they'll improve. Now, how much they're going to improve, I'm not sure, but they will improve.
Let me go through the Manly, because we mentioned Manly before.
Yeah.
The Manly spine. Tell me what you think of this one. Turbo, if he starts, is he injured?
He's always in line. He's always good for 3 games.
He's in line for round one.
He's right for round one.
Okay.
He's always good for 3 games a year. Yeah.
So you got Turbo, and then you got Schuster, DCE in your 5'8" half, and then you got Jake Turbo, who is sensational, and you got Croker at the in the hooker. That's not a bad spine. It's pretty decent. If Turbo can stay on the whole season, he's going to make a huge difference.
It's all about Turbo.
It's all about Turbo.
Well, you could say that. It really hinges on Morgan Harper and whether or not he'll be.
Poor Morgan. Actually, you know what? I saw him in the Maori game, the Indigenous and the Maori game, and he was like a fish out of sea. The poor kid. He really got bathed. He got bathed. I didn't want to say anything. He got bathed.
Now, one of our favourite players plays for Manly, Cole Lawton. So we hope to get him out. I love Cole Lawton.
He's a pod favourite.
He's a pod favourite.
Cole Lawton.
He's training the house down. So
of course he is.
One of my sources, a friend of mine, Roberto the Concreter, he's doing a job down in Brookvale. Watching him train. Apparently, he's training the house down. Yeah.
He's going to be another Ruben Cotter. He's going to have one of those breakout years.
So there's two players who are friends of the pods. Ruben Cotter
and Cole Lawton.
They're two friends of the pods.
If me and George picked any team, we'd have them. They're straight in.
That's it. Straight in.
Straight in. Those guys have got so much energy. You just love those two players. They're just everything. And the Bulldog spine, mate. I'll just go through that one. So that Perham.
Okay.
Is that guy the fullback?
Perham.
Can I just say about Perham? I watched him in the All-Stars game, and I'm not convinced. Now, saying that, he wasn't in his structure, in his team.
I've watched him play a few games at Para, and he was good.
He's good. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm talking about fullback. I'm not convinced, but it's a one-off thing. So
he played on the wing.
He's a winger.
He played for Parramatta.
He's a winger.
No, he's a natural fullback, I think.
Is he?
But he played on the wing when he played first grade. He's only played 3 or 4 games.
Okay, so he's a youngster.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd still put out a car at fullback, but anyway, you got Perham. Then you got Burton, Flanagan in your halves, and you got Marnie in your hooker. So that's a pretty good spine. You got Sutton, Ryan Sutton, who he looked pretty good in the trial.
He went well in the trial.
So Kickout for Talamarina. So the back row's very, very strong there.
It's a good pack.
Yeah, that's quite a team.
It's quite a team. Your front row is a bit Luke Thompson and Davey or Pangai Jr. So that you got those guys floating around.
The pack's a good pack.
Your backline, Ockenberg, Kiraz, Avarello, Burns.
I like Avarello. I'm waiting for him to...
Kiraz is good.
Kiraz is very good.
Ockenberg looked good. He looks solid, eh? He's a big unit.
He's a big unit.
He's one of those... He's like Manly. You don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get. One day he's great, and the other day he just... It's like turning around the Titanic sometimes.
Yeah. He reminds me a bit of Jamal Idris.
Yeah, remember that?
Yes.
He was outstanding.
Yeah. But he does a bit like that. Like he can have one of those breakout games and then, you won't see him again. And that's basically the bottom 8 sides. We've sort of gone through their spines. So, yeah, that's basically it. Next week we'll go through the top 8.
Go through the top 8, yeah. Yes, definitely. So let's have a look at this weekend's trials because we know that this weekend we'll have, at least in the first half of all of these games, they'll be pretty much at full strength.
Yes.
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
they usually tend to pull the players off at half time. So Starting tomorrow night, being Friday, at 5:55 p.m., we got the Knights and the Eels.
Well,
who's your tip? Let's give a tip each one.
well,
Uh,
Knights and Eels.
Yeah, it's okay. You know what? It's really hard. I'm going to go the Eels, but it's hard. It's hard to. It's always hard to tip trials, but yes, I'll go the Eels.
I'll go Eels, but
I think Eels. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Depends on Jacob Arthur and whether or not he's in the squad.
Oh, actually, Knights.
Just
joking.
Well, we should see Ponga and Hastings tomorrow.
Exactly.
Night, right?
That's the thing.
yes, we will see Ponga. I'll watch it.
Following that game at 8 p.m. is the Roosters and the Seagulls. I think the Roosters.
Roosters.
Roosters that you know what? When I read the lineup, I get excited.
They're my premiership favourites.
Me too. And the only reason they weren't last year was the horrid injury toll.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
People are forgetting them too soon.
No, I'm not forgetting them.
Saturday at 4:20 p.m. the Dragons and the Rabbitohs.
And the Dragons have named a pretty strong side. The only guys they're resting are Jack DeBellin. I think he's got the injury, but Ben Hunt's going to be there. Sullivan's playing.
Oh, good. He's
Mbai starting at 5'8", and Sullivan's on the bench. But that's good because they've got to sort of bring him in. But it's going to be a good side, and Souths are going to have a decent squad on there.
If Souths are stacked, is Souths full on?
Yeah, they've got...
I'm sure everyone will be.
Yeah, I think Mamazelis is starting at hooker.
You know the good thing about even that, in terms of Souths, their depth is crazy. And if anyone's injured or even if they take Cookie to Origin, which they probably won't, but they took Cookie to Origin, because Peter Mamazelis... last weekend, he looked sensational before Dimitri took him off.
Yeah.
He looked really good. And let me tell you, I know they've signed him and they've paid him NRL money to keep him there because he's so young. But
how young is he?
He's 22.
Oh my God, he should have gone to another.
He should have went to Para.
No, Saints. Why can't Saints? We haven't got a hooker.
Para, man.
No, we don't need him. We signed a 34-year-old with 3 knee reconstructions. He threw a great intercept pass on the weekend, by the way.
Yeah, come on. He'll be all right.
Panthers, St. Helens, Saturday, 6:50 p.m.
That's the one. That's the one which will be 80 minutes of intensity.
That's the competitive game this weekend, isn't it? That's
it's funny you say that. I reckon 30+ Penrith, but anyway, you reckon it's going to be competitive?
I think 12
for the first couple of minutes.
I think 13+ Penrith as well, but it's going to be competitive at least. Like in terms of both teams are turning up for something. There's something to play for. So everybody watch that one or tape it.
I think we're all tipping Penrith, right?
Penrith should strangle the arse.
Oh, they'll smash them. Yeah,
that's what I want.
Later that night at 8:55 p.m. we have the Broncos and the Cowboys.
Okay,
that's a tough one to pick.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a tough one to pick.
Always good games. Those two teams when they play. I'd go Cowboys, to be honest. If depends if Cowboys bring on their stars, fill their stars. They'll do it.
I'm a cow man as well.
But it'll be tight. It'll be very close.
Sunday's looking good actually. We've got a few games. Sunday at 12:50 p.m. the Warriors and the Storm.
Warriors Storm.
I'll go the Storm.
Don't the Warriors always beat the Storm or something in the trials?
I think it's their
and they get their hope up, and then you think, oh, Warriors are going to go good this year. And then
I'll go the Storm on that one.
Yeah, can I just say the Storm? They played Reggie's on the weekend. Even their Reggies look good enough to start first grade now. So when we look at their pack and it looks thin, it's not thin.
It's still Craig Bellamy.
Yeah, it's not thin.
Still Craig Bellamy. He's the 14th man.
Storm will win, but don't think for 1 minute that they're thin.
A couple of really good games following that, or at least a couple of really good first halves. At 2:55 p.m, we got the West Tigers versus the Raiders.
Wow,
which would be an interesting one.
Yeah,
I think, you know what? I'm going to go the Tigers on that one.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to go Tigers, and that will tell us a story.
I'll go Raiders. I don't like the 48-12. They're going to rest players.
I just think, even though it wasn't the Tigers' first team that took that score, I think as a club they'll want to rebound from it.
Hopefully, I hope so.
And the Bulldogs Sharks, 5 p.m.
Cracker.
Sharks.
And that will be a real test for the doggies in the first half there.
Yeah.
Sharks will win, but it just depends on if Canterbury can compete.
I've got a feeling the Dogs. Yeah. I'll put are they playing at Belmore?
Yeah.
There you go.
Both of those games, the Tigers, Raiders, and the Bulldogs Sharks are at Belmore.
It will be full house.
The Dogs,
It will be,
It will be full house, I reckon.
And the last game, closing it out on Sunday evening at 7:05, is the Dolphins and the Titans. Again, really difficult to predict. But from what I saw from the Dolphins last weekend, Jag, I'm going to tip them.
Yeah.
If Supercoach shows up,
he'll show up this one.
The team will get a boost.
He'll show up this one. And look, it's a 50-50. Give me the Titans because I just like the coast.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough one to call, actually. It'll be tight,
Mm.
but I'm going to give it to the Dolphins. I think they might be able to.
Go to the Dolphins.
Both coming off draws, eh? They both had a draw last week.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Interesting. Look, it's just good to have rugby league back.
It is. Just to get a.
How good is it? Just to sit here and talk for an hour and a half about rugby
We
league.
need to argue a little bit more. I don't think we're arguing enough.
Sure we will.
This one was a bit of an argue for this one.
But that wraps up episode 27. Just a reminder to the fans, send us an email at quickhandsrugbyleague@gmail.com with any of your questions or feedback.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be happy to share and discuss here on the pod. Guys, that wraps us up.
Enjoy your rugby league, everyone, and plenty of games on this weekend. Go for it. Hope your team wins.
Have fun, everybody.
This is our real first taste of rugby league, really. The first taste of rugby league this season. So
then we have a week off, and then
we have a week off. We don't have a week off. We'll be here, but the NRL has a week off, and then it's
business.
We'll be at the stadium on Thursday night, kicking off.
Oh yeah, we're going Thursday.
My team has 2 weeks off because they've got the bye first round. So Dragons kick off round.
How do you reckon we'll go get
So that's why you think if you've got 2 weeks off, you probably play a lot of your big guns this weekend because you're going to have 2 weeks off.
Well, you are.
Yeah, we are. So,
well, that means the Dragons are leading the comp at the moment.
Wait a minute. How you go against the bye? Reckon you'll do the bye?
I don't know, but knowing the Dragons board, they'll see Saints on 2 points. I'll say, re-sign. He gets a re-sign.
Re-sign Hook. Give Hook 4 more years.
Who'd they play? I don't know, but how they won, just give them the...
Who have you got at 7?
Sullivan. Or hopefully.
I reckon Jacob Arthur would look good in a red V.
Have they put Hunt in this week?
Yes.
And is he playing 7 or 6?
He's playing 7 and Mbai is 6.
I'd have Hunt at hooker. I think he's got to be the hooker.
Me
this
too.
Year,
personally, yeah.
I'd have him at 9.
Yeah, me too.
Personally,
I'll put the 2 youngsters at half.
Yeah.
He's been the best Origin hooker for the last 5 years.
That's what I've said.
On either team.
That's what I've said for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Anyway.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But it's going to be interesting this week. Let's see. A bit of a taste, like you said.
Can't wait.
All right, boys. Well, thanks for your company. It's been great. And listeners, we'll have a great week and we'll see you all next week.
Happy Rugby League.
Happy Rugby League, everybody. Bye.